Thousands of cartons of fresh peaches and nectarines are being recalled in several states, including Walmarts in Pennsylvania and New Jersey.
You try to eat right. Maybe you grab a banana in the morning, snack on some grapes in the afternoon, or toss a handful of strawberries into your yogurt, like they show in the commercials. But what if the fruit you're trusting to keep you healthy is hiding something rotten? In American grocery stores, not everything is as fresh as it seems. Beneath the shine, the stickers, and the neat little pyramids of apples, there are deeper problems that start long before the fruit ever reaches your cart. Some of the biggest names in the business are the worst offenders, and what looks crisp and clean on the outside might be a chemical-laced, overhandled mess on the inside. If you think fruit is the safest choice in the store, it's time to look again. Because what you're not told might change the way you shop. Now, let's head over to Aldi, a grocery chain known for its rock-bottom prices and no-frills shopping experience. The minimalist displays and speedy checkout may help keep costs low, but sometimes that budget model trims more than just the extras. It cuts into quality control. Aldi's fruit section has developed quite the reputation online, and not the good kind. Entire Reddit threads and Facebook groups exist just to document the horror stories. Moldy berries, rock-hard peaches, and fruit that turns overnight. One viral post showed a sealed container of raspberries completely covered in fuzzy mold, less than 24 hours after purchase. The timestamp on the receipt and the photo proved it. Aldi operates on skeleton crews, meaning fewer eyes to monitor the produce section. One former employee broke it down like this. One person runs the register, and one person stocks everything else. If something goes bad, it sits until someone complains. That means you could grab a bag of clementines that's been sitting in the bin for over a week, totally unsupervised. Several customers have described biting into Aldi apples that looked fine outside, but were mealy and brown inside. Likely victims of cold storage abuse. And it's not just individual fruit. Aldi's use of bulk bins might save space, but it invites problems. Fruit is often dumped directly from shipment boxes into the display crates without any real inspection. That means one bruised orange at the bottom can start rotting the entire crate in a matter of days. One customer described bringing home a bag of grapes that looked perfectly fine, until they found a swarm of fruit flies living in the bottom. When they returned it to the store, the clerk simply shrugged and said, "It happens." Labeling doesn't make things any easier. Aldi uses coded labels instead of clear expiration dates on much of its produce. Unless you happen to know how to decode those stickers, and most shoppers don't, you're basically guessing whether those strawberries are from this week or last month. One shopper claimed they were sold apples that had expired 2 weeks earlier, only to be told that visual inspection, not actual dates, is what the store relies on. And while Aldi does carry some organic fruit, the selection is inconsistent at best. 1 week, you might find organic blueberries at a great price. The next, nothing but conventionally grown grapes with no origin listed. For customers who care about organic options or want to know where their food comes from, Aldi offers very few clear answers. And when it comes to freshness, that lack of transparency can leave shoppers with more questions than confidence. And now we come to the biggest player of them all, Walmart, the grocery giant that sells more food than any other retailer in the country. Their produce section promises unbeatable prices and convenience, but those savings often come at a hidden cost. Behind the bright displays and neatly stacked apples, former employees describe some uncomfortable truths. One produce worker in Texas recalled a daily routine that involved repackaging overripe peaches and nectarines into smaller discount containers, hiding the bruised fruit underneath a fresh-looking top layer. "We called it fruit camouflage," they said. Customers wouldn't realize until they got home, and half the container was already mushy. Walmart's relentless push to keep prices low puts heavy pressure on suppliers. That pressure translates into shortcuts. Fruit picked before it's ripe, treated with ripening agents like ethylene gas, and shipped in cold storage across the country. By the time it makes it to the shelf, that glossy apple may have been harvested weeks earlier. One employee shared how boxes of plums would sometimes arrive with mold already growing on the bottom layer. The fix? Wipe off the top ones and put them out quickly. Storage conditions don't help either. Videos posted by whistleblowers have shown pallets of fruit left in back rooms overnight, without proper refrigeration. In some locations, produce was stored next to garbage bins and cleaning supplies. One image even showed grapes kept in the same area as leaking detergent bottles. And once the fruit makes it to the sales floor, the problems don't end. Shoppers have reported apples with odd sticky coatings, bananas split and leaking, and strawberries that seem perfect, until you turn the container and find white fuzz clinging to the bottom row. Then there's the issue of labeling. In 2022, an investigation found that several Walmart stores were labeling imported fruit from places like Mexico and Peru as grown in the USA. But the fine print on the packaging told a different story. This isn't just deceptive marketing. It's a potential safety issue. Imported fruit can be treated with chemicals that aren't allowed under U.S. standards. And for customers trying to support local farms or avoid long-distance produce, it's a misleading and unfair game. Walmart may offer everyday low prices, but when it comes to produce, the cost is often hidden in plain sight, under the skin of that perfect-looking peach or buried beneath a mountain of chemically ripened bananas. And while the display might sparkle under those fluorescent lights, the reality behind it is far less appetizing. Next, let's talk about Food Lion, a grocery chain known for its affordability and wide presence across the southeastern United States. With its promise of easy access and fair prices, Food Lion sounds like a reliable option. But when it comes to fruit, the cracks start to show fast. One produce manager in North Carolina revealed that shipments of fresh fruit only arrive once a week, sometimes even less. That means the strawberries sitting on the shelf could already be 5 days old before they're even unpacked. And if the delivery is delayed, get ready for the discount bin special, where overripe fruit is repackaged to look like a deal. Storage is another recurring issue. Many Food Lion locations operate with minimal cold storage space, forcing pallets of fruit to sit in warm back rooms until staff can find space in the fridges. As one former employee put it, if it fits, it ships. If it doesn't, it sits. Mold growth? Not uncommon. Fruit flies? Basically part of the crew. One shopper in Virginia posted a photo showing gnats swarming a banana rack, while employees continued restocking nearby without even flinching. But the problem isn't just freshness, it's safety. A 2019 inspection of a Food Lion store in South Carolina revealed that pre-cut fruit was stored in the same cooler as leaking meat packages. That's not just unappetizing, it's dangerous. Cross-contamination isn't just a buzzword, it's a food safety failure that can make people seriously ill. And when asked how often the fruit bins were cleaned, one worker replied, "You mean deep cleaned? Maybe once a month, if that." Even if you decide to stick with whole, uncut fruit, you're not necessarily in the clear. Food Lion has a habit of bundling older apples, pears, and oranges into plastic-wrapped value packs that are placed near the front of the store. They look like a steal until you get home and discover that 2 out of the 5 fruits are already mushy, bruised, or leaking. One employee even referred to them as fruit grab bags, because in their words, you never know what's inside. A customer review described biting into a peach so sour it made their eye twitch. Then there's the pricing game. Food Lion loves to advertise flashy deals like 10 for $10, but they rarely mention the short shelf life that comes with it. These promotions are often used to clear out fruit that's about to spoil. Those blueberries might seem like a bargain until they start growing fuzz in your fridge the next day. And if you try to return them, good luck. The store may have a refund policy, but you'll likely find yourself behind a line of customers holding bags of wilted lettuce and leaking avocados. Now let's step into Safeway, A grocery chain that markets itself as the upscale, clean, and organized alternative. You walk in and the lights are soft, the floors shine, the apples are stacked in flawless pyramids, and the music makes everything feel calm and reliable. But behind that showroom feel lies a very different reality, one that some former employees have described as all surface, no substance. One Safeway produce clerk put it plainly: "We were trained to make it look fresh, not be fresh." That meant old fruit rotated to the top, a few spritzes of water to give it extra shine, and a manager's special tag slapped on anything teetering on the edge of spoilage. But that rot runs deeper than just some bruised peaches. A health inspection in California flagged several Safeway locations for storing pre-cut melon and mixed fruit at unsafe temperatures. If you're unfamiliar with food safety terms, that means the fruit was kept between 40 and 140 degrees, a range known as the danger zone where bacteria thrive. And this wasn't just a one-time issue. In Washington, another Safeway location failed its audit because a broken fridge meant spoiled fruit was simply moved to another cooler instead of being discarded. The hope? That no one would notice. Then there's the organic illusion. The green labels and earthy packaging give you the feeling that you're making a healthy, ethical choice. But a 2021 review of Safeway's produce labeling found multiple instances of conventionally grown fruit being stocked in organic bins. One insider explained that when organic stock ran out, it was common practice to refill the bins with whatever was available. Sometimes it was even the same brand, just not the organic version. So shoppers were often paying a premium for a banana that had never even heard the word organic. And shoppers have definitely noticed. Social media is filled with photos and posts showing moldy strawberries purchased just hours before, blueberries leaking juice through their containers, and grapes that crunch in all the wrong ways. One video showed a customer shaking a sealed container of pineapple chunks, only to reveal a pool of fermented juice and what they described as the smell of tropical garbage. When they brought it to a manager, the response was a shrug and a refund. Safeway's problems are more than aesthetic, they're structural. The systems in place are designed to preserve appearances, not quality. And when you rely on lighting tricks and clever signage to sell fruit that's already turning, you're not protecting the customer, you're protecting the margins. So why does this keep happening? Because it works. Because customers have been trained to shop with their eyes. Fruit is bright, it's colorful, and it makes us feel healthy, even when the truth is rotting just beneath the surface. Whether fruit bins, Aldi's moldy berries, Food Lion's grab bag peaches, Safeway's organic illusion, or Walmart's fruit camouflage, the pattern is the same: minimize transparency, maximize turnover. Fruit arrives, gets displayed, and is expected to sell fast. When it doesn't, corners get cut, labels get fudged, damaged pieces are hidden under pretty ones. And you, the shopper, are left trying to guess which bag of grapes is safe to eat, and which one's a ticking time bomb for your fridge drawer. You can't shop the way you used to, not if you care about food safety, not if you care about getting what you paid for. Stores are under pressure to shrink costs, protect margins, and move product. That pressure leads to habits that put your health and wallet at risk. Fruit gets hidden, wiped, relabeled, and repackaged. And most people never realize it until their $5 strawberries start leaking before the week is over. But now you do know. You know a shiny apple might be hiding a bruise. You know organic doesn't always mean what the label says. You know a great price might mean the clock is already ticking. So check your fruit. Look under the top layer, flip the clamshell, smell it, gently squeeze it. If the strawberries feel soft, walk away. If the grapes are sweating inside the bag, that's not a value. That's a warning. Because in today's grocery landscape, buying fruit isn't just about flavor. It's about what you're not being told. You have more power than you think. Grocery stores only get away with this because people keep buying it. But every time you choose better, Every time you walk away from a sketchy pack of peaches, you're forcing them to do better. So ask questions, pay attention, and stop assuming that a pretty display means it's fresh. Sometimes it just means someone got really good at stacking yesterday's mistakes. If this helped you see the fruit aisle a little differently, hit that like button. And if you want more behind-the-scenes breakdowns on what stores don't want you to know, subscribe. Because the truth? It's not always on the label.